Hi, my name is Tommy DeVries, and you're watching the Tommy deVlog. This is the channel where I talk about my life, my career, lessons learned, and I try to share some lessons learned with you guys. So let's get into my week so far because it was a doozy. But first, a song.
Tommy deVlog is like a frog, so just so sweet. Like and subscribe, don't kill my vibe, it's like a tree. Stupid hobbitses, cut the intro!
Awesome! Man, my voice hurts after that one. Yeah, so welcome back to the channel. You might notice a little bit difference in quality in the video. I'm trying a new camera and audio setup here. People always ask, so I'm just gonna say again, if you wanna help out the channel for free, like the video, just hit that little like button thingy real quick. Subscribe to the channel. It's free and you get notifications when the new videos come out so you can watch them. Higher view count, bigger chance at world domination. Leaving a comment. Whatever you liked or didn't like in this video or suggestions for next times, just drop them down in there. And share this video with friends. If you know anybody that's interested in topics like this, hit the little share button. If you're seeing this on social media, flick it off in a DM. I also started cutting up these videos into shorts that I've been publishing on Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts. If you guys are into that, I think every other day or so, but every week at least, looking at maybe Sunday, releasing that one deep dive video with a big topic that I'm really passionate about or a big update that I had in my week. That way I'm still posting consistently. That way I'm still sharing topics to talk about. That way I don't run out of topics. I don't know, let me know what you think. One video a week and some shorts is good, or maybe just two smaller but consistent videos. I haven't really settled on it yet. Gotta fuel up with some coffee. Oh my God, it was a week. So I'll be honest, other than just being busy, tons of auditions. You know, I talked about 7 auditions, 2 callbacks last week. I had a few more auditions this week, basically, the week that just happened. And I was like busy, getting back to classes. Okay, we're getting back into the normal routine of things. It's, you know, Thanksgiving period is over. There's kind of that lull period between Thanksgiving and Christmas. What's gonna happen? In the Marine Corps, or really the military in general, we always call it the American Ramadan, because between Thanksgiving and Christmas is like that period of time where kind of just nothing productive happens, at least in like the 9 to 5 Monday to Friday world. You know, everybody always talked about how busy it was going to be in the holidays for entertainment, especially with the strike ending, especially with a lot of people moving out of town, whether because of the strike or because of the holidays. And I will be completely honest, I was not prepared for just how crazy it was going to be. Daily phone calls from both my agent and my manager telling me, here's another role coming out, or here's another this and another. And I was like, okay, cool. I'm starting to get overwhelmed. Throughout the week, I thought this video that I was gonna release, this video that I was gonna record and release that you're watching right now, I thought it was gonna be on burnout and how not to get burnt out when the pace starts picking up. I don't really have much to talk about burnout insofar as like doing this for years. I don't have a lot of experience there. I know a lot of people experience like what would be like a generational or long-term burnout. I don't know. I'll let you know in a few years how that goes. But like the short-term burnout is what I was going to talk about. Sleeping and the eating right and the balancing your day-to-day life. How to do that and not get overwhelmed so that you can still stay productive, still stay holistically happy, all of those things. And then I get a call at midnight a few nights ago from my agent after one of my acting classes. So like I just finished and I was getting ready to go home and I was tired and I was like, I'm just gonna go to sleep. I am so tired. It's been one hell of a weekend. I need some rest. And then I get this note. In my Actors Access, a network guest star audition. For a show I'm not gonna say, because technically it's still in the casting process right now. I only submitted the audition a couple days ago. And I just saw my agent yesterday and she'd said, hey, we're still in the running, so, you know, mum's the word, keep your fingers crossed, and I'll let you know if I hear anything back from casting. But I can say it was a network audition, it was a guest star. For those that are not familiar with the different roles in TV, series regulars, like the main characters, top billed, they're in every episode. You have recurring characters, mainly part of the series, but they might not be in every episode. They come back all the time, and they're big supporting roles for the show, but they are not the series regulars. They are just recurring characters. Then you have guest stars. Guest stars are the per episode characters that show up, and the episode's generally about them, or they are a main component of the episode. Without them, the episode really wouldn't have a purpose. That's a guest star. Then underneath that, you got co-stars. Those are your day players. They generally have 1 to 5, sometimes a few more lines, but they're just there to support the story in a very quick way, to be simple about it. Series regulars, recurring characters, guest stars, co-stars. Oh, and by the way, this works for television. There's different for theater, there's different for film. Television is those 4 that I mentioned. I say all that to say, I got a network guest star audition, which means the episode is about my story. Mind you, it's December 2023. I've been doing this job for 6 months, and already a casting team looks at my stuff and goes, we'd like that guy to try out to be the guest star of our show this week. It didn't really hit me until until I got home that night. Somebody somewhere saw me, the materials I put together, including my agent who submitted me for this role and believes in me. But a casting team saw that stuff and was like, yeah, try him out. Now I don't know if they actually liked my stuff and they really did want to see what I could do, or if maybe they were just using me as padding for like the rest of the powerhouses that they were gonna cast. So like, you know, when the casting team's sitting there with the 25 people that auditioned for the role, they put me at the very beginning and then go, who's this guy? Next. You know, like the warm-up comic. But anyways, I get home and then it just hits me like a sack of bricks. Somebody wants you to try out as a guest star for a network television show on a very popular network, a very prolific and popular show. And then instantly this gravity started like sucking me into the realness of what that meant. And I instantly printed out the script and I got on my Line Learner app and I recorded, oh, I didn't tell you about the script. Like 8 pages of dialogue, okay? It was 2 scenes. One scene was like 2.5 pages. The other scene was like 5 pages, full ass pages of dialogue. I mean, we're talking basically the max amount that they're able to make you audition for. And don't get me wrong, in the casting notice, they were like, you can hold your sides, totally hold your, that's fine. We don't mind if you're just make sure that during some of the more integral parts of the scene, you're not staring at your sides like that. Tommy don't work like that. Tommy's gonna memorize the lines because Tommy's crazy. Tommy has absolutely no chill when it comes to memorizing lines. Any time I've ever gone into a rehearsal, any time I've ever gone onto a set for anything, if I'm not line perfect, I'm not gonna have a good day. And here's why. I just saw a video recently of Tom Holland talking about, you know, he doesn't memorize his lines until the day of when he's in the makeup chair because he wants the realness of the line to flow through him. And I get that. I think that is awesome. If you are good at getting dialogue into your brain housing group quickly and then firing that off on set, or refreshing yourself before you get to say each line because of the way film works. I think that's cool. Do you, Tom? And if that works for everybody else that you've talked to, great. Tommy needs, I need total like embodiment of my lines so that I am free from having to even think about them, so that I can just focus on acting. So what I'm doing right now, I'm not thinking about a single word that's coming out of my mouth as I'm talking to this little black circle in front of me. That inhibition lets me just be who I wanna be and do what I wanna do without having to think about, oh, what do I say next? How does the punctuation work? Whatever. So the way I study lines is I record them, I listen to them on loops for hours. Generally, I can get 2 to 3 sides memorized in about 2 to 3 hours over the course of 2 days. That's kind of my process. Whenever I was doing theater, if I've ever gotten like a film role, that's the most you're gonna need to memorize in a day anyways, because rehearsals only do so much content, or you can only film so much at a time. So it's not like you have to memorize the entire script overnight. But for an audition, 8 sides goes by in about 5-6 minutes, and they're watching the whole thing. And I had less than 2 days to prepare for this. I got it on a midnight, I had the whole next day, and then it was due the following day at 3 p.m. But this was such an important audition, and this is kind of like the core of the video here. It's not how good Tommy can memorize lines. It's why I wanted to memorize the lines, and then what I did about submitting this audition that I want to talk about. I wanted to memorize the lines, like I said before, so I could be free from the actual dialogue, and I could let the character take over me, and I could let the behavior tell the story without, oh, what do I say next? I hate that. I love telling the story with expression and with behavior and with being in character and being just overwhelmed or sad or happy or manic or whatever. You can't do that on your own. Every actor needs a director, I think. I don't know. Maybe not, maybe. I do. I need a director. So every Tommy needs a director. That night, for a couple hours before I went to bed, so I did have that to listen to the lines and just kind of start the process. So I could go to sleep, be dreaming about the lines, wake up, I already had a head start. Then I had a few appointments that morning, so I was trying to listen to the lines as I was going back and forth through things. And then I was like, I need to call a coach, I need to do this. So I called up my coaching studio. For audition technique, I go to the Scott Sedita Acting Studios, where my coaches, Scott and Deb, are very, very intricate and detailed with how to develop character, how to build the universe that you're in, and how to communicate that through an audition. So they are the perfect coaches for an audition of this magnitude. Not only that, so Tommy didn't just have this novel thought and decide, I'm gonna go get coached on it. But I had so many people from my network, especially friends, colleagues, mentors, and teachers from this group I'm in called the Hollywood Winner Circle, which there's gonna be a whole video dedicated to what they have done for me one day. I know I've talked a lot about VME and the veterans networks I'm in, but the Hollywood Winner Circle and Talent Managers for Actors, I'm gonna link to those groups in the description down below. But I had a very good, very incredible mentor from that group, Sean, immediately sees my story where I talk about I have a huge network audition coming up. And he texts me in all caps, like, go get coaching now! And I was like, well ahead of you, mate. Locked it in, but good looking out. Because they're right. When you get an audition of such an incredible magnitude, go get it coached, okay? The day player stuff, or the low budget things, If the coaching is gonna cost more than the role that you're gonna get paid, I'm not gonna tell you to go get coached, to do what you want with your money. I just let the classes that you're in and the coaching that you're getting from the day to day, let that speak for those kinds of auditions. auditions. Save the big time coaching, because nobody's made of money. You're not gonna be able to get every single audition coached. If you are, great for you. And share those techniques with me, share those coaches with me. I found that just finding really solid actor friends or director friends that I trust to put me on camera and put me in a scene and read with me, I trust that they can, hey, this and this and that, like make these adjustments, whatever. Also, if they're great readers, it helps me act better. But for the big stuff, like get it coached. Why? Because I walked into that coaching session with my notion of what I wanted to do. And I thought it was pretty good. I mean, 8 pages off book, 24 hours. By the way, that was a new record, by the way. I think the max I have ever memorized in a single day was like maybe 5 pages max. I mean, I would have looked at 5 pages in a day and like my brain would have exploded. 8 pages, basically a day and a quarter. I go into this coaching session off book. I'm feeling good about it. I start delivering the piece. You know, the coach had some notes for me. She was like, hey, this and this and that. Like, you should probably change this. It's not feeling lived in enough. She was basically, the feedback that she was giving me, I could understand what she was saying. I wasn't thinking the things that this character needed to enough. It was a very deep audition, very dramatic, very traumatic, very scared. The amount of not just emotional depth this character had, but like the mental states that he was in is clear. Everything was all over the place. And to show that on camera was a very, very difficult prospect. So we worked on it for an hour and 15 minutes. I mean, it was 8 pages, so that kind of makes sense, but really getting into every single line. What are you thinking about when you say this line? What was the trauma behind this line? What scares you about this line? What scares you about that person? And it really got me. I mean, I've done script analysis and character development before, but really getting mentally messed up by every single thing that you're saying was kind of new for me. But it was also important that I did that, because network audition, I mean, the chips are all in for something like this. And if you don't show up with your A game, yeah, you might not get the audition, and that kind of sucks. But the implications of that are you just showed your ass to a casting director who you may run into again and again and again. And if they remember that ass that you showed them, I can't say it from personal experience, but I know a few people that have talked about not wanting to, let's just say not wanting to show your ass in front of a casting director. Because someone somewhere was like, try this guy out for guest star, let's see what he does. They may have not even considered actually casting me, but maybe just wanting to see what my potential was. You know, oh, here's a new guy in the scene, we haven't seen him before, let's throw him this bone and see what he does. And I gotta say, after all that development and all that coaching, and then finally looking at what I was able to do, and then sending it to a few people who I really trusted to look at my performance and give me honest feedback. I'm not talking about the people that are like, Tommy, I love what you're doing, like, this is great, keep it up. I'm talking about the people that have consistently told me, you gotta work on this more, I didn't believe this, yada, yada, yada. I sent this audition off to some people that I trust, and some of my most cynical critics got back to me and went. Someone said the line between Tommy and this character was totally blurred. I didn't know what was happening. Mind you, that was somebody who I thought was going to tear it apart in front of me and go, overacted, overreaching, too dramatic, too much Tommy, it's all about you. But it wasn't all about me. And this isn't all about me. I'm not self-aggrandizing here. What I'm saying is I got it coached. I let somebody else tell me the things that I had to do to become this character. And I trusted them. And then in just the simplest of ways, that character became me when that scene was clicked on. And the performance I gave was probably one of the best auditions I've ever given for the most important audition I've had in my life so far. And I know for a fact that I submitted top tier material to that casting director. And whether or not I get cast, at this point I don't really care. There was a video that got released years ago about Bryan Cranston talking about how the audition is the job or the callback is the job. Every time you do a performance, whether it's for an iPhone in front of you or a casting director at a callback or a network test, or getting there up on stage and just doing the performance for people or for a camera that's gonna eventually get published and released. But doing any performance period to include an audition is the job. You're making work, you're making art, you're showing it to somebody, in this case a casting director. You're building your network of people who understand who you are, and you get to walk away to the next thing. Yeah, you might not be getting paid for it, but work does not necessarily imply getting paid. Most of what we do in this business is not getting paid, or getting paid very meager amounts of money. Yeah, I'll audition and I'll understand what Bryan Cranston is talking about, sure. Firing this one off, right? Working on it, getting it coached, getting it taped, cutting it together, firing it off, knowing that a casting director watched it, and I'm now in some slight degree on their radar. And whether or not I get the role, I have been offered the chance to show somebody what I can do as a guest star. That is the job. That is why I'm so happy. That is why after about a day, I stopped thinking about whether I was gonna get it. So in a sense, you know, this video today, which originally was gonna be about burnout, then turned into a story of basically redlining myself for a few days, but getting to an end state where I was very happy with the work I was able to do. To me, that counteracts the burnout somehow. I probably look like super tired right now, and it's because I am. Because immediately after doing that audition, I went down to San Diego to see family, and I spent some time down there. Then got another audition that was due in 24 hours, so I crushed that. Came back up to LA, went to that party with my agent, and this weekend is just stacked. Networking things and seeing friends that I haven't seen in a while, just being busy in the city. So yeah, I definitely feel like this has been a chaotic week, and I learned a huge lesson. Getting the big auditions coached and making sure you're putting your best foot forward in this business. That's not to say don't put your best foot forward in every audition that you do, but for the ones really matter. If you can afford the extra cheddar, put some spice on it, get some professional opinions on your takes, do that. You will be happy with the product that you're putting together. You'll be proud of it. Other people will be proud of it with you. And when you launch it up, you know you're putting your best work out there and people are gonna see it. Those groups I talked about before, Hollywood Winner Circle and Talent Managers for Actors, every casting director that gets in there talks about the stuff that they remember, the good and the bad, when people were sending stuff over to their offices. Be in that category of stuff that they remember for the good. And don't get burnt out doing it. You know, if you gotta redline yourself for a day or two, do it as safely as you can, have a plan, get some rest afterwards, and get ready for the next thing. The other thing I learned is, I'm gonna be redlining myself a lot, especially over this holiday period, which is ironic. This is supposed to be the time where we rest, you know, and recuperate. I get this audition, it's due in 2 days, it's 8 pages long, I fire that off, I drive all the way down from LA to San Diego, and then as soon as getting there, I have 2.5 more pages to memorize for an audition due the next day. I felt like I just redlined myself, and then it was just the RPMs were going down, I was getting some, and then back to 8,000 RPM again. And I was walking around that night, like going through those pages and basically just trying to get off book for the following day so I could wake up in the morning, shoot as fast as I can, and get off my plate. And then as I was kind of just walking around the block, my body just started going like I started to crumble. I was like, okay, I gotta go back inside and go to sleep. And then I couldn't sleep because I had redlined myself so much. I was so tired that my body couldn't physically move anymore. But then I couldn't sleep because my mind couldn't rest because I was too busy thinking about things all day and worried about what I was gonna do the following day. I just wanna say to anybody who is, if you're feeling burnt out, that's okay. I'm feeling burnt out too. I gotta plan some more rest into my schedules. I gotta plan some more self-care. But what uplifts me is doing good work and also seeing other people do good work. So if you're getting burnt out, hopefully that means you're putting together content that is incredible. It will drain you. It's draining me, but I think that's okay. As long as we remember every now and again, take it easy, maybe drink some tea, watch a TV show, get a little more sleep, take a bath, light a candle, go to the gym, spend time with family, you know, all the good things that make life happy and enjoyable. But anyways, yeah, I think I've talked enough about a single topic today. I hope you enjoyed it. If there's anything you would like to hear me talk about next week, drop it in the comments, please. I would love to know. Really appreciate you supporting the channel. Really appreciate you watching this video all the way to the end. Gives me the motivation to keep doing this. But yeah, that's it for this video. I definitely learned something today. I hope you did as well. I'll see you in the next video, but until then, take care.